Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Putri Syazabia binti Putri Malaysia Alam. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Pahang, and also currently live here. So previously, I finished my secondary school in Sekolah Menengah Kebahasaan Rompin, and after that, I further my study taking foundations in UiTM Dengkil. So basically, at first, I don't have any interest in law, but after my foundations, I found that law is quite interesting because actually we just from my study, we could know what is actually going on in our legal system, in our government, and even what is going on around the world. And what inspired me more to also further my degree in law is because I see nowadays that oppressations is that become the most serious enduring conflicts in the world today. Double standard between the rich and the poor, unequal treatment of the gender, race, religions, and all of those unfairness, injustice, inequality happen. I don't want to be the person who just sits and watch the problem without doing anything, but I want to be the person who have an authority to change the situations. I want to be the voice to speak up for those who should have their rights respected but now have been denied. Whether the MCO could breach of contract. First of all, let's take a look what is MCO. As the world right now has been attacked by Covid-19, Malaysian government has taken an approach to curb the spreading of the disease by implementing of Movement Control Order MCO effective from 18 March 2020. However, due to restriction and limitations arising from the MCO, it has caused difficulties to many of the contractual parties who are struggling to meet their contractual obligations. In a general rule, a breach of contract occurs when one party in a binding agreement fails to perform according to the terms of the agreement. So first of all, in my opinion, MCO could cause breach of contract. Why? Because MCO is not happen in permanent time, but it only happen in temporary. So the contract still can be performed even though it will make the event postponed or the party may face difficulties to perform. But if the defaulting party could prove that due to the MCO, it become impossible to perform and their contract has been frustrated, then they could not be liable for breach of contract. Second point of view, the defaulting party also may raise the defense under the doctrine of frustrations, which stipulates in section 57 clause 2 of the Contract Act 1950, then the contract shall be deemed as void. However, in the case Pacific Forest Industry Student Berhad and another against the Lee Winche and another, the contract does not become frustrated merely because it becomes difficult or delayed to perform, but that frustration occurs without the default of the either party. A contractual obligations become incapable of being performed, and a thing radically will differ from what has been contracted. Nevertheless, when Covid-19 Act was gazetted and came into force on 23rd October of 2020, this act is part of the measure introduced by the Malaysian government for the individuals and companies who economically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic and is aimed at reducing the impact of this pandemic. Part 2 of this act addressed the inability of parties to perform any contractual obligations due to the measure taken under Prevention and Control of the Infectious Disease Act 1988, and in such situation, the innocent party will not be entitled to exercise their right. MCO is also part of the measurement to control the spreading of COVID-19. Therefore, the contractual party may rely on this act and it could be said that they have not breached the contract. In the conclusions, in order to determine whether MCO could cause breach of contract or not, it could firstly see in the terms and agreements of the contract, and if the contractual parties could prove they cannot perform the contract due to the MCO, then MCO could not render a breach of contract. Then the innocent party could not be liable. That's all for me. Thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy.